That is the sound of That is the sound of the jar of names. We have a name. I have one. This episode of the podcast, or this video, is for everyone, including but not excluded to Dejan Petkovic. So I hope you enjoy this podcast, if you are still watching or listening in this case. So, welcome to December. It's the 7th of December, and it's the first episode of the Cappuccino podcast in December 2015. Anyway, this is a cup of tea. And this is the podcast. So, to honour the month of Christmas, because it's more like a month of Christmas now, not just a day, I'm wearing a Christmas hat, because why not? I did it in this week's recording, and I'm doing it now, because it gets me in the festive mood. Anyway, if you want to skip ahead to points in this episode, you can skip to this week's update, this week's topic, this week's TV time, this week's question, and this week's goals. If should be the first comment on this video, but it probably won't be the first. It will probably be there soon. That's all I can say. But anyway, let's get on with the update. Okay, so I'm kind of behind on a few episodes of the Harvest Moons. Harvest Moon, basically, just Harvest Moon. Yes, I mentioned last week, obviously, I didn't record all of them, and I did record them, but then I didn't get time to edit them, and then I found out there were some problems, and those problems are that in the next episode of Harvest Moon, which is, I believe, Winter Eclipse, because I've renamed it, basically the audio, the headset recording of mine is just not there. I've got the file, same amount of time it is, but it's just no sound. And I'm pretty sure it must have happened after recording, after rendering out between recording, editing the audio, and then rendering that audio, because I would have noticed that there wouldn't have been any audio spikes on the actual Audacity, so it must have happened sometime there, but I'm not sure what happened. So that's gone, and I can't do it again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do post-recording, post-commentary, and I'll make it a shorter episode, so that it'll be like a very quick, just all the important bits from that episode, and I'll call it Winter Eclipse, because it's like, it's in winter, and it sort of eclipsed the Harvest Moon, because it's a different video. But yeah, it'll be a shorter one, which I know is not the best, but, you know, it's Harvest Moon. We've seen everything of it before anyway, and I doubt there was anything too interesting. And again, we have got the video, so I'll be having my post-commentary, and I'll keep all the important bits in. But that's happened, but then I'm 2 behind. So what's going to happen is I'll talk more about in the topic, but there's going to be a few scheduling changes, which we'll talk about soon. Right, so also, there was something else, something quite big. Linked to today's topic as well, the PlayStation Experience. There was a game that was announced to come out on PlayStation 4. It's a remaster, I think. It's Dark Cloud, a game that has always been really uniquely attuned to my history of Let's Playing. It was the second one I did, biggest one I've ever done, and everyone sort of found me through that, at least in one way or another, and people know me for the Dark Cloud thing. I'm pretty sure all of you now, if I said, do you like Dark Cloud, or do you want me to do Dark Cloud, you will all say yes. Well, most of you. Now, something has happened with this Dark Cloud thing that's related to my chat and my videos. Can't say much because I wanted to keep it a surprise. I'll give you some hints. I will tell you now, don't get your hopes up, I have not been given permission from Sony to do Sony-related games. And yes, Dark Cloud is owned by Sony, the rights are anyway. Made by Level 5, but owned by Sony. So yeah, I don't have the permission to do it, sorry. So don't expect anything along those lines. However, something has happened relating to Dark Cloud videos, and all I will say is it has something to do with it coming to the PlayStation 4. So keep an ear out on the podcast for any more information about that. Usually I talk about a lot of this stuff in Harvest Moon as well, so if you don't watch that, pay attention, because sometimes I talk about stuff like this. But yes, I'll give you a hint as well, so yeah, we'll see how it goes, but keep your ears out. It might be quite exciting. Anyway, on to topic. This week's videos, what we got. So I'll talk about this scheduling now as well. So where's my page? Here it is. Just opened up. There we go. So, right. Today, Monday, we have the podcast. It's the short, probably quite a long podcast, actually, I'm not sure. But we've got a podcast. This one here. You're listening to it now. Then later today, we've got a short episode of Harvest Moon. I'm going to put in the short one today because there's 2 episodes of things today. Just so I don't want to have 3 episodes. Even though the Winter Eclipse is shorter, and I've explained why it's called that. But that's for Harvest Moon today. Then tomorrow we've got 1 episode of BioShock. It's called I Fought It Impossible. Continue with the fort theme of the titles. And Wednesday we have 2 episodes of Harvest Moon. It's called Winter Ball, which was supposed to be out last Friday, and Winter Hound. Again, continuing with the winter theme, although I'm quite annoyed that everything begins with winter. It needs something else like Tales of Winter or something. Oh, that's quite a good one. Oh, I like that one. Might use that. And then Thursday we've got Bioshock, which is called Fort Knox, which is a bit of a pushed title, to be fair. Nothing really interesting happened in it, but yeah, I went with that one instead. Okay, and then after that, we've got 2 episodes of Harvest Moon on Friday, which brings us up to date. It'll be Winter, Presents, and Bored of Winter. That's the titles, again with the winter one. I like that last one, Bored of Winter, because winter's not first. But yeah, that's this week's videos, and that's what's going to happen. Basically, whenever there's a Harvest Moon episode, there's going to be an extra one, apart from Monday, where it's a shorter one. But that's just what's happening. Yeah. And hopefully this will work. There is a bit of a problem with the winter eclipse. That might happen. I've got to finish an assignment tonight first, and then if I get time, I'll record it, which hopefully I'll be able to. But might be a little bit of a delay on that. I suppose I can record it on Monday and just release it on Monday. So yeah, that might actually happen. But just in case something happens, I'm expecting some problems with that one. So we might get a few problems there, but we'll see what happens. Right. TV time then. Not much happening on TV time. There was a few mid-series finales. We had The Walking Dead, which was, to be fair, was not a very strong episode, this finale. There's a character at the end who I hate now. He's so silly and so stupid, and I just want to slap him a little bit, which is a bit bad to say because of who he is. But yeah, didn't like him at all. And then we've also got Arrow and The Flash, that mid-series finale. So it was a crossover. And do you know what? I'm actually really looking forward to the Legends of Tomorrow now. Just seeing all the characters that are going to be in it sort of together now. It was just pretty cool, and I can't wait. And of course, Vandal Savage is just amazing. And that's about it for the TV time. Let's get on to community. Mention Monday. These are the people that commented on last week's videos. We have a few newish faces on here as well, which is quite cool. But let's get on, shall we? So, contrary to belief, it is not one person that's first this week. It's somebody else that's first compared to other weeks. It is Mr. Big White 661199, Horia, Logan141, Dragonlord 55511, Dr. Dragon, and Party Player. Yes, so Mr. Big White 661199 was first this week instead of Horia, who it usually is. And of course, Dr. Dragon, who we talked about last week, is here. He is commenting more, which is good. Stick around, my friend. We'll have some fun together. We're all a big family here. Right, Q&A now. There's 2 questions this week. We have Logan141 who says, I heard there's meant to be a Ratchet & Clank movie coming out soon. If this is true, would you watch it? My friend, this is definitely true. This has been happening for a while now. There are trailers out there, there are posters, there's even a game that ties into the movie. It looks pretty good. I'm not sure if they're going to show it in a cinema near me, but I will definitely watch it. I'll definitely buy the DVD as well because, it's a Ratchet & Clank movie. I must watch it. I must own it. I'm still sad that I haven't got some of the merchandise for Ratchet & Clank, like the action figures, or the big massive statue that's like 250 quid, which I am saving up for. I'm just saying that now. It's just a shame it's Christmas because I can't afford it. But yes, I'll be watching it. Dragonlord 55511, my Lord of Dragons, says, Hello Sir JDTwoSixTwo, I have a question and a riddle for you. Question. Are you going to make any more of your Try Cooking series videos? Because I would like to see some traditional British dishes and how to make a cup of tea British style. Right, yes. I assume you know about the things about Cup of Adventure. They'll all be on that channel. Obviously, we have had some problems with it at the moment because obviously I'm busy with other stuff as well. But 2 weeks' time, so 2 weeks from now, so not this podcast, not next podcast, but before the one after that, I will be on Christmas holiday, which means I think it's about 3 or 2 weeks off, which means that's when I'm planning on catching up with everything. I want to obviously do it in these weeks coming up, but I've got stuff to do, which I should be able to do it. We'll talk more about this in the goals, but I should be able to get some done before then. But yes, these things are going to be happened, and yes, there are going to be more stuff like that, including that British-style tea, which is probably going to be quite soon. And then Riddle, you said, I have all of your knowledge, and yet I could fit in your hands. What am I? Hint, it is the organ that is inside your skull and will get damaged if you not wear a helmet when driving a motorcycle or snow machine. It would fit in your hands. Brain? Yeah, brain. I think it's brain. Yeah, I think it's brain. Okay, and then subscribers. So we've gone down 3, unfortunately, this week. Although when this Dark Cloud thing happens, I'm expecting to get a lot more because people, well, if people know about it, they will subscribe again because this is probably why they unsubscribed, because they're waiting for something like this. But we have 1,101 subscribers, which is down 3, obviously. And we have one new subscriber, which is Mark Dennis. So welcome to the community and all the team, whichever one you want to say. And if you know what I'm talking about with the dark cloud thing, write it on a piece of paper and send it to me via pigeon or smoke signals, either way. Right, next up is questions. So last week's question was, where are you going to watch Good Dinosaur? I've seen The Good Dinosaur now. It is very good, if you pardon the pun. It's quite... I watched it with Purple Cookies. She didn't like it. She thought it was too scary and too sad. She doesn't like death in anything, really, I suppose. But yes, she didn't like it. But I quite liked it. I enjoyed it. I had high expectations. So I was a bit underwhelmed, one or the other. I was a bit whelmed at first, but after I sort of slept on it, I enjoyed it. It was a good film. Beautiful film, though. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, and Horia said, yes, he thinks he will watch it. Probably not when it comes out, but a bit later. I personally think if you like the Pixar films, Horia, I think you probably like this more than some of the rest. It's more... I don't want to say more adulty, because it's not adulty, but it's less childish and more... In terms of story, it's a very good story. In terms of like death and motivation and why you want to do something and stuff like that, and a sense of purpose. Yeah, we'll say that. Right, now this week's question is, what do you think this dark cloud thing is? I've told you that it is something to do with it being on the PlayStation 4, but I've also said that I've not been given copyright permissions, so remember, don't get your hopes up. But what do you think this dark cloud thing is? I think it's quite interesting, because I don't know what you think it was, if you think what it is or if what it isn't. I'm not sure. We'll find out, but that's quite interesting. Go. Theorycraft. That's it. Theorycraft. Right, okay, and then this week's comment belongs to the infamous this week's comment winner, Horia. He basically said something really interesting and very observational, which I'm happy about. He says, this is about Harvest Moon. He says, while thinking about how 50 fish can stay in a small frozen pond for the entire winter, I realised something. How can the large fish caught from the sea live in the same pond as a small fish caught from the stream? I mean, saltwater fish and freshwater fish don't mix. Exactly. Fish from the ocean live in saltwater. Fish from the stream live in freshwater. You can't mix the two. It's like that thing from The Simpsons. You're probably familiar with that thing from The Simpsons, where he had the lobster and he put it in the pot in the aquarium, and he had the goldfish in there as well. And obviously the lobster was dying because it was in freshwater, and then they need saltwater. So you put salt in there, killed the fish, and then you sort of had to balance it out. Exactly. Think about that. It's clever, that, Aria. I like that. I even like my Simpsons analogy that I linked it to. Well done. Right, okay, so this week's goals. I did say I wanted to complete logos by last week and be ready to record a couple of adventure videos. It didn't happen because I was ill and things didn't happen. I didn't have a really good week. So that did happen. This week's goal, I'm going to say is the next podcast, but I might make it 2 weeks. Before my holiday, which is coming up in 2 weeks, I want to have logos and get ready to record like every single day of a couple of adventure videos, because that should happen. Yes, which is pretty good. That should happen because I feel like it can, because I've got one assignment due in for today, you're watching this, and then I've got a big one due in for the end of the 2 weeks coming up. And so I've got to do stuff for that, but I should have more time, be more relaxed, so I might be able to do some logos and maybe some planning to do with recording. So that's good, and I'm getting out of breath, I'm talking too fast. It's late. So that should happen all right. And then also, this thing I'm talking about, this dark cloud thing, if you want to know about a date and stuff, you can expect something to happen before December, hopefully, assuming everything's okay. I haven't checked things yet, but everything should be okay, and something should happen about this dark cloud thing before December, which should be good. Right. Oh, I just finished a cup of tea for this podcast, because, I got my out of breath for talking too much. Okay, anyway, but yeah, that's about it done then. So yeah, what is this dark cloud thing you think it is? Remember, I've said this once, I've said this again, I will say it one more time as well. I have not been given copyright permission from Sony to do Sony video games, or videos of them. So yeah, Theorycraft, let me know what it is. I'm interested to see what some of you people think. Anyway, that's me done. So until the next time we meet, I will say goodbye. And what film? The storm will provide.